Hey everyone, welcome back to Talking Sense. I'm Ben. Today I thought I'd talk about a brand, or a couple of brands, that have been getting a lot of hype over the last year, and it seems to be growing and growing and growing. Especially one of them's just got UK or EU distribution. I thought, we'd chat about them. Bortnikoff and Areej La Dore. Now, this isn't a review video, nor is it a first impressions video. Instead, it's a video that's probably just going to make everybody hate me. So let's go. So, Areej La Dore and Bortnikoff fragrances. Why am I making this video? Well, to start with, I want to say this isn't like too preachy. I hope, I want to say right from the start, we should all have the freedom to buy, smell, and do what we want. I'm not trying to advocate for like a boycott or anything like that. I do just think that we should be educated on A, our hobby, and B, what we're buying, and C, what they're telling us. So, first of all, I'm going to open this video with a little bit from Luca Turin from Perfume's The Guide, possibly because I think you'd probably believe him more than you will believe me. So, on the subject of naturals, Luca Turin says, "Some companies have trained their sales associates to tell you that their fragrances are so pricey because they use a high proportion of natural ingredients. Perhaps even all natural ingredients, perhaps gathered in rustic baskets among hillsides of heather and clover by barefoot virgin tonsured monks, clad in brown burlap while they pray for your soul, as they have done since the late Cretaceous. But there are really very few perfumes you could honestly call all natural. Of those, we have yet to find any that belong aesthetically in the top tier. Most perfumers believe a judicious mixture of natural and synthetic is best. Very few perfumers we've met believe in 100% synthetic fragrance. Furthermore, many perfumes advertised as all natural are full of synthetic aroma chemicals, either because the company is cynical or because it has been lied to by suppliers." So that's Luca Turin and Tanya Sanchez's words on naturals. Both these companies, Bortnikoff and Areej, now I think somehow they're linked. I think the head of Bortnikoff and the head of Areej La Dore, they used to work together in some capacity, and now they don't, and they have made their own separate fragrance lines. You got Russian Adam from Areej La Dore and Dmitry from Bortnikoff. Now both houses claim that they use a really high level of naturals, 85 to 100%. It's either marketing bollocks or an interesting interpretation of things like isolates and what they are. Because, like I say, answer is exactly like Luca Turin said. It's very hard to make a perfume that smells any good using all naturals. So, part of this naturals thing, anyway, that they both use is that they both still use animal ingredients, which are banned by the majority of places in the world. Both houses use deer musk, castoreum, and civet. Two of those three include killing animals, one of which is endangered, or more or less endangered, and the other one involves really pissing an animal off, and just severe animal cruelty, basically. You don't need to take my word for it. Here's a video courtesy of Fragrance View, which I'll put a link in the description for the whole video, because the whole video is actually a really interesting watch, and you should definitely go and check it out. But here's Russian Adam's words on. First of all, we'll look at the civet, the use of civet and civet ingredients.
So let's talk about civet, for instance. Areej La Dore never used civet paste, which is known to be derived from a civet cat, and we believe that it never can be done ethically. There are farms in different parts of the world where they keep the cats and then they take the paste out of their glands, and it's caused a lot of harm to the animal. For this reason, we not use civet paste in our perfumes. On the other hand, we have civet coffee, which is also produced by the civet cat. However, we met the farmer of this particular coffee that I bought for my perfume Oud Luwak, and the conditions that the cats are kept in are just incredible and amazing. When we saw the cages, when we heard about the food that the cats eat, we're being literally surprised. So we find it very ethical.
Okay, so you might notice straight away the problem with that one, and that would be just quite simply wild cats in cages. Doesn't really work. Now, he says that they are these wonderful cages and have these wonderful lives. Well, here's a video that I found on YouTube, and I purposely have picked a positive video that shows this in a positive light, because of course there's lots of videos of these civet cats getting, you know, treated in kind of really, really shocking environments. Now here's a video that does the opposite. Here's a video that is purposely positive and shows them, you know, with mountains in the background and a wonderful kind of environment. And I think you'll still find it quite disturbing.
Here, civets are well taken care of. They are regularly fed a healthy meal of chicken, banana, papaya, and essential vitamins and supplements. And then for merienda, a bowl full of fresh coffee berries.
That's what I assume Rush Adam is talking about when he says, you know, that they were in it. You know, this is quite a positive, well looked after farm. Now you can see these cages; they're keeping like wild cats in tiny cages. They're pacing around backwards and forwards. Their diet is really wrong, because as much as that video makes it out that they get this great diet, the whole point is that they're eating these coffee berries. So I don't really think that is the entire truth that video is telling you. And not only that, the flooring of the cages as well, you can probably see that most of the time these cats are made to sleep, walk and do everything on these kind of wired floors. So that's that one out of the way. Next we got deer musk. Deers, you have to kill them to harvest the sacks, and Russian Adam says this about that.
Then comes the deer musk. Since I launched the Siberian musk, I faced a lot of inquiries from people who were concerned and sometimes even angry that we use such ingredient, because it's endangered species and it's illegal all around the world. But the fact is that in Siberia, government still allow for a certain number of hunters to hunt for a deer, and it's done for various reasons. And then the meat of the deer is used, the flesh of the deer is also used, and the musk pot it's also taken and it's used. And a single musk pot from a single deer can provide us with 100 bottles or even more than 100 bottles of perfume. So we find it very ethical, and it is legal in a particular area from where we source it from. So we always try to maintain this and source our deer musk only from a legally registered hunters.
Right, now I would assume that again everyone probably picked up on what's wrong with that. Just because something is legal in one place in the world, the only place in the whole world that this is legal, that does not make this morally correct in any way, shape or form. The fact that people are emailing with concerns, I think he misses the concerns, like the point of the concerns entirely, by saying that it's legal, don't worry. That's probably not what most people are emailing you about, Adam. They're probably emailing to say, I'm not fussed if this is, like, you know, the legality of this is not the issue. the morality is the issue, and just by calling it legal, I think it's skirting that, and I think he's either being obtuse or stupid in that video. So I'll leave that there, because will get quite upset about this if I keep talking about it. Now the next one, castoreum. Again, you cannot farm castoreum without killing the beaver. It comes from a gland in a beaver. It's used to oil their coat and scent things. The only way of getting it is by killing it. So again, it's another ingredient that we have not used a natural version in perfumery for tens and tens of years. Now some people lament this. Some people will say, oh, my old perfumes don't smell the way they used to. The old classics are gone now because we can't use them. And they're blaming like Ifra and things like this. In some cases, that's true. In a lot of cases, for things like oak moss, which actually, you know, the death of the Chypre, for example, can be because of the fact that we haven't really got a great replacement for oak moss. And that's true, but oak moss is reduced and restricted because it's an allergen, not because it's obviously like dangerous for oak moss. We're kind of geared into this thinking that synthetics replacements are not as good as they were, and the narrative is, oh, you know, my perfumes don't smell as good as the vintage because they're not using all the old ingredients like they used to. And that's true, like I say, in things like oak moss. But to talk about musks, right, for first, we have so many synthetic musks now that you really don't need to kill an animal to replace that, because the musks are so well done. They're so well done that the entire rest of the perfume industry and the entire rest of the world is okay with it. Now, if you want to say, I don't want synthetics in my perfume, well, I will refer you to the words of Luca Turin and Tanya Sanchez and say that you're being lied to anyway. There are synthetics in Bortnikoff and Areej La Dore. It's just that simple. And if you really, really, really must have a natural musk, well, why not go for a plant musk? Because a lot of musk replacements are natural, in fact. Some people assume automatically that anything that replaces musk is synthetic. It's not true. There's a lot of plant musks, botanical musks. We don't need, at the end of the day, we do not need natural musks. So, like I say, I'm making this video to explain those things and to show them. Why do I think I need to make this video? Couple of reasons. Firstly, because there's a lot of hype for these brands, and what I see in amongst the hype disturbs me a little bit, because I see people saying things like, well, first of all, they're buying the marketing bullshit. They're buying the fact that they're all natural and that's amazing, and as an extension of that, the musk gets caught up in that, and a lot of people are hyping the fact that they're using real musk and hyping that as if it's a good thing. And I think we shouldn't be, as a community. I think we should be rejecting the use of these ingredients. This is my stance. You can have your stance and you can go ahead and buy them, knock yourself out. What I'd say, the real reason I made this video is not to sort of call for a boycott or try and get them closed down or stop them selling perfume or any of that. I think they should have the freedom to do all of those things. You know, all of those, they should be able to sell their perfume. You should be able to buy it if you want it. I just think that if you do want it, please be educated on what you're buying and understand what has had to die so that you can smell better than a synthetic or a not so synthetic musk replacement. Me personally, my stance, I will never buy an Areej or Bortnikoff fragrance, and I won't support them. You'll never see an Areej La Dore or Bortnikoff review on this channel, not once. I think they're operating in a, to call it morally grey area would be polite, and I think they're overpriced for a start, but outside of that, you know, I think they're operating in a morally grey area that I disagree with highly, and I don't think we need it. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's absolutely unnecessary. I think buying these fragrances is akin to, you know, it's in a similar line of thought of going to South Africa to shoot an endangered animal. you know, and pay thousands of pounds for the kind of elitist kind of mark that you've shot something endangered. And that's that, really. So yeah, that's that. I assume now a load of people are probably itching to rage at their keyboards at me and tell me how wrong I am. Knock yourself out. That's what the comment section's for. Obliterate it, go mad. Tell me why it's great to use real musk. I probably won't engage unless I can be asked, which is probably unlikely. But knock yourself out anyway. Vent. Do what you want. Cheers. Thanks very much. Like, subscribe if you want to. shouldn't imagine there'll be too many of you. But you know, thumbs down if you hate it. There's plenty of ways on YouTube for you to vent. So knock yourselves out. Cheers. Thanks.